And that's where I learned the power of smiling.
Oh, I was going to ask how you did it.
Yes, the power of smile. The power of changing the way you speak, your tone. I never shout. If I'm angry, the angrier I am, the quieter I am.
Oh.
If I'm very quiet, you know you're in trouble. Run.
I want to talk about your transition to South Africa. So what leads for you now to get to this place where, do they offer you, do you ask for it?
Yeah, remember I'd asked for it. I sat down and said, part of the journey, what is it going to take for me to be the marketing director, to be a director level in this business? And they said the international exposure. And so when the opportunity came up, they said, this is the opportunity that's there. I said, okay, let me do it. I'm going to do it.
These are conversations you had years ago.
Because remember I kept saying, what is going to be the pathway? Yeah. What is a pathway? Part of that pathway was that. I mean, you got to remember, I never did any job longer than 3 years.
Yes.
So I need the next. What's going to be the next one? What's going to be the next one? Can't continue doing marketing manager, home care. Then I become marketing manager, personal care. Then I become It's all the same, you know. And there's different products, literally. So then they said, this is the opportunity. I said, okay, fine. And, they were very nervous saying that because I was the first actually married woman to do it with a baby. Wow. And I said, yes. And then they tell you, can you go home and discuss and see if it will be okay? In my brain, I'm like, yes, I will. But tell me, do you ask men the same question?
Oh.
And they sat down, they said, yeah, of course we do. Yeah, of course we do. Yeah, we do. I said, right. Anyway, I just rolled my eyes and they said, okay, fine. So I did, and that's exactly what I did. And I said, this is what it's going to take. And, after some considerations, Leonard was very clear that he's going nowhere. He's going nowhere with this one. But let's see if we can make it work. Go and ask them, can they organize this? Can they arrange this? And that's what happened. That's how come I wound up in South Africa for a little over 3 years.
And what year do you leave to go to South Africa?
I left, when did I leave? Back end of 98. And then I came back, 2002. I came back beginning of 2002.
Okay. Yeah. Me and you have jumped to the same places.
Yes.
From Kingston, I also went to Kenya, then I went to SA.
Yeah.
And SA is a different dynamic of people.
It is completely different. So and I was in this leadership team because then I was part of the exec of that Unifoods, Unilever business there, the foods business there. And here I am, Black woman. The only other Black person was a factory manager.
Wow.
South African guy, Patricia Ithau, who was the factory manager for the factory. Made sense having a Black person because there are Black people in the factory.
And this is 90?
This is 1999.
99. So you're 33. If I'm not wrong, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, 33.
And then there was a guy, of Indian ethnicity. And he was the buying person, head of procurement. And then there's me. So we were the ones who were helping the BEE number, the Black Empowerment number. And I used to tell them, but I'm not, you shouldn't count me. Because I'm not from Myanmar. Yes. They said, no, once I helped. Because Black woman, you get the most points. I just needed to have a disability.
And you'd be filled.
And it would have been, the quota would have been perfect. Yeah. There's no way they're going to whatever.
Explain that to somebody. Affirmative action was happening. Basically, South Africa was saying, and you're entering, Mandela has just literally come in. Like that's
so interesting.
Completely different South Africa.
I was a different South Africa. And managing that, I always used to say, that's where I learned the politics behind the politics.
Wow.
Right? Would come for an exec meeting, right? And in this exec meeting, if we're going to talk people and roles and whatever, and people have decided, and you could see, the first time you're looking around the table, you're like, why does it feel there's a conversation I missed? Why is that conversation I missed? Because of course you were not. I'm trying to push for the local South African, especially all the Black women, and saying, okay, why don't we consider this one for the job? And then somebody says, it's because of this. And then somebody adds some other thing. I'm like, gosh, how do they always have this information top of their head because you've done? And then you realize, And then after, when you're going for the break, oh, that was great fishing. Oh, great fishing, right? This weekend. Da, 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 da. Because, they hang out together. They do stuff together.
Oh.
Yeah, they've gone fishing over the weekend. They have all their conversation. Oh, dinner. We didn't eat dinner this weekend. You are on the outside completely.
No,
yeah, so.
Patricia, I was thinking, as much as you've said SA, I went to South Africa in 2001. South Africa in 2001 is still very different from South Africa in 2005. You went pre-2000.
Yeah, and I left after year 2001 because I left in 2.
And here's the crazy thing. Just because you're from Kenya doesn't mean they stop looking at you differently.
They tried. When I would speak, they'd look.
Allah.
And also because of the way I talk. This thing called talking. That spaghetti moment really transformed me.
The spaghetti.
Yeah. It really helped because also the way you talk, people look at you a little bit differently.
Yeah.
And so I sat down and I said, it was a very interesting time. I won't lie, but also it allowed me a lot more acceptance because you underestimate what it takes to have grown up in that system. And I used to feel them. I used to feel what they go through, having been brought up and having seen what happened. But for me, because I'd never lived it, I went to school with all sorts, all colors and everything. We never saw ourselves. I never went into a room feeling I'm black.
Yes.
My blackness was color of my skin amongst, darky type thing versus not even pointies, but also, fair skin girl, light skin, that kind of a thing. But it was not against race. You get what I'm saying?
I get it.
And so, although it has the same elements, I guess, but the privileges are nowhere near as different as this was. So I could go to their homes and be comfortable. I could also go to the black homes and be comfortable, go for all their functions, this, go Soweto, this, whatever, go to. And then I could go for a dinner party at this one and I'll be fine. And at home, I'd have them all, they'd come. It would not be a problem. My children were the only black children in the school that they were in, the only.
Wow.
Yeah, when he was the only. She looks at these pictures. She said, Mom, how come there wasn't not even one? I said, no, you were just a fly in a glass of milk, darling. Deal. Yeah. So it didn't occur to me, but I started becoming conscious of it. And the most conscious thing that you learn, and it didn't even happen then, it even happens now, you're a woman, you're amongst men at a board and you say something and people kind of talk over you, they finish and then some guy somewhere comes and says exactly what you've said. The first times that used to happen in South Africa, I sit and I say, yeah, but I think we need to look at it this way. No. And then you start second guessing yourself and saying, maybe I wasn't clear. Maybe I should be a lot more forceful. And I realized I was getting a lot more aggressive, a lot more forceful because I was trying in my head, telling myself, am I actually being very clear? This is the idea that I've said. Because you say something, suggest it, and then they go on, they say, yeah. And then 15 minutes later, some guy comes and says, yeah, perhaps you do that. And you're like, did I just say that? In your head, you're like, isn't that not what I just said? So in the beginning, you don't. And then in the end, you realize with confidence, the only way you're going to crack this is by calling it out. So towards the end, I'll be sitting there, I say something, they do their thing, and then somebody says, I said, that's exactly what I said 15 minutes ago when I said 1, 2, 3, 4. So after a while, they stop. People become,
hey, this one,
we're not going to push over her. And whatever else. But it's also a fine balance because you don't want to come across as angry black woman.
I was going to say that, yeah.
Yeah. So you have to find a way of being nice with it.
Into that.
Yeah. So you have to find a way of doing it in a nice way. And that's where I learned the power of smiling.
Oh, I was going to ask how you did it.
Yes, the power of smile. The power of changing the way you speak, your tone. I never shout. If I'm angry, the angrier I am, the quieter I am.
Oh.
If I'm very quiet, you're in trouble. Run.
Yes.
Run.
Yeah.
Because I never raise my voice. I'm not the kind to scream and shout because that's exactly the image that people expect. But when you speak a lot quieter, when I'm upset, I speak very, very quietly. Yeah. And then the message drives home. And I tell people, try it. Everyone I mentor, I just tell them, go and try it. Go somewhere and you're saying things, you're in a room, you're not being heard, and everybody's raising their voice. Just say something quietly. Everybody's just going to keep quiet. You see what you guys are doing now? You're listening to me. And they're all going to turn, and then, because now they're trying to hear what you're saying, you have a bigger impact. Yeah. Big hint.
I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm also understanding the difficulty. You know, when people hear you're traveling and all of these things, let me say something about this affirmative action.
Yeah.
The reason why the shock hits me of just your transition in your role is because people have to understand, because of the whatever was happening in South Africa, these guys, there was no woman with the qualifications that you had.
Actually, some of them may have, but they didn't have the exposure
and experience.
And they didn't have the confidence. So I spend my whole time trying to push them to be able to speak, to be able to talk, to be able to overcome the chip. Because even when they'd come in now, they'd already come with a chip.
Yes.
And a chip already rubs people the wrong way because they're already saying, but you have the chip. Don't. Come as you. Exactly the way they come in. They don't come in with a chip.
They don't.
So ask yourself, since they don't have a chip, how do I act like I don't have a chip on my shoulder? That is a power. Because then you're now leveling it up. If you come with a chip, it means you're a little below, and the chip is helping. You're using the chip to push yourself to that level.
Wow.
But if in your mindset you've said, actually, I'm at the same level, I don't have a chip. I'm meeting you like this, right?
And that chip can be anything.
It could be
so
anything.
in this case, it's maybe black, white, race.
Yes, the race issue, woman.
And a different other thing can be gender.
Gender, could be woman, could be gender, could be this, could be all those things.
Wow, could be education and
could
experience.
Could be education, it could be your accent, the way you speak.
Yes.
You know, because you're also judged by the way you talk. You know, you've got a thick
Even
accent.
if you're talking the way you are talking.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Even if you...
One helps. Learn something. If you could go back. In the context. Yes, in some places.
Some guys can act. There's uni ubabi.
Ubabi. Like me now, I'm sure that people are going to watch this and say, not a Barbie.
They said in episode 1.
Yeah, they said, Barbie. Now why did he bring her this Barbie? She didn't whatever. But listen to what somebody's saying. Different experiences you learn. Different things. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. The minute you switch something off quickly, learn to hear what is behind. Even if you dislike somebody intensely, learn to see what is behind. And then it makes you a bigger and a calmer person, right? I always tell people, in my whole life, there are only probably 2 people I've ever really disliked. And the reason I dislike one is because they did something to my children. My children are everything. You do that one is red line. And the second is because I don't get it. After everything I did for you, and then you turn around and the stuff you do, I just don't get it. So, but even that, with time, I'm like, it's so much work. Do you know how much work it is to dislike somebody?
Yeah, it is.
It is heavy. Travel light.
Yeah.
It is so much work. I honestly and truly tell myself, if I feel that there's something, whatever, I move on. You know how big this world is? Yeah, find a new space. Richie has made me feel like this, like that. Now am I going to spend my time in Richie's space so that I build? People ask you, how do you stay young? Don't travel with weight, right? How do, you see people with those lines on their face like this?
That's how the black cracks.
That's where the black cracks. Because you spend yourself carrying bitterness.
Oh.
Yeah, and bitterness shows on your face. Be happy. It's a beautiful world.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
Patricia, I want us to take a break. So my team is my core. And I've got to make sure that they get some energy.
I know, they need to get the energy.
So that we can continue. And also, my host and my guest needs to have some nice good
Thank you.
greens.
Thank you so much. Greens. What are you going to have, you said?
Greens. Avocado.
Avocado. You're going to do avocado?
We'll be back.
Okay.
Please do me a favor. Share this city. It has so many gems in it. It has so much value in it. There's so many people, both men and women, young and old, who need to listen from this. This is a free life class, a free masterclass that you're getting on leadership. We'll be back.
Thank you.
I'm loving this so much.